What is up, guys? We are here with, oh man, there's music. Stop that. We are here with Split View. Oh, I didn't have It's been a day, huh, Josh?
Yeah.
And I know you got a story, but hold on to it because I have a place for that. But just real quick, hey, we almost started on time for once.
I know. I think we did start on time.
Close. It's 3:01. So I would say that's pretty close.
According to my clock, it's 3:02, but...
It's 3:02 now. We started at 3:01.
Alright, so you were a minute off. That's the closest you've been.
I was going to say, that's definitely the closest I've ever been. Today is July 20th, 2021. Split View, we do this thing every Tuesday here on North Coast Underground, which is a part of the Be On Air News Network. And normally we start out the show by talking about how our week went, but I got a couple things that I kind of want to specifically hit today. We're going to be real interesting right from the start, I'll put it that way. We got some interesting stories to get into to start the show, and then we got jam-packed with topics. Josh, you gave me a bunch of topics over the weekend, which is awesome. I love when you do that. But what I think you forget is we normally only hit 4 topics per show, and you gave me 4 on your own. No, it's 3, I'm kidding. I worked them all in there though. We're gonna have to be a little quick today, you know?
That's what happens when stuff happens.
But, well, speaking of stuff happening, actually, great transition, I wanted to start this off, and it'll actually give me a chance to open my notes since I wasn't able to print them. But what the viewers can't see, but you had a bit of an issue this morning.
Yeah, I'm glad the camera is... You are not able to see my face because right now the right side of my face is a bit swollen because either I got bit by a spider or I got stung by some other type of insect. I know it wasn't a bee or wasp because I would have felt the sting, but yeah.
Yeah, it definitely looks blown up. You said all you took for it so far is ibuprofen, right?
Yeah, and it's like an anti-inflammatory.
Which is pretty much what ibuprofen is. Yeah, it's probably one of those things where it looks worse than it actually is.
Yeah, so for the show tomorrow, I don't think I want to face the camera.
No, you already told me that earlier, and that's probably a good idea.
You know that tomorrow's a double day, July 21st, 2021?
I did not know that.
Okay.
A double day, huh?
Yes, I call it a double day when that happens. I think it's fun.
What makes it a double day again? Oh, it's because it's
July 21st.
First of 2021.
Exactly.
Okay, I get you. I guess. It's like one of those riddles of yours.
No.
Wait, well, you said you had one. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get to it or not. We really do have a lot.
All right.
I wanted to start off, I want to give you props for even being here, because I think if anybody else had what happened to you this morning, they wouldn't have came today.
There was a brief, I did miss some of the first class because I was debating whether or not to come in, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, well, it's strange because I have never seen you miss any class. So.
Well, I did the first week of this block because I was in South Carolina.
Yeah, that's a little different though. That's vacation. We knew that was coming. What I'm saying is, I walked in a little late today, and I'm like, oh no, blah blah. And I get back there, and there's nobody in class. There's 2 people in there. No Josh. No James, who is from my other show, but somebody else who's usually there. But I was lost today. Dang, where is everybody?
That's what usually happens with this first class, because teacher comes in online, and sometimes I lose track of what she's talking about, because she ends up talking with the other people online about random stuff.
My girlfriend's already texting me. She loves to listen to the show and text us. At least we have some people who listen during the show, by the way.
Yeah.
And we have a couple listeners right now, so shout out to you guys. And anybody watching this later, you can watch the show on our both of our now YouTube channels. My YouTube channel, Kramer Radio Production, and yours?
My YouTube channel is Under Cinematic.
Yeah, so we'll have the links on Facebook like usual, all that stuff, but definitely make sure you have both our YouTubes on there and watch this video. I always like putting the video up. I feel like that's kind of engaging, but it's also fun to listen to a live show. And we got a show email splitView216@gmail.com. And if you email me during the show, I don't think people realize I check this email like constantly.
You do.
We don't get a lot on there, but I'm always checking it during breaks. If you ever want to get a hold of us during the show and like drop a comment or something, send it to that email, splitView216@gmail.com. I've been thinking about getting some kind of a phone set up, which would involve, we've talked about it before, and it would involve getting like Zoom and setting up an account. But the only reason I haven't is because you see right now it says we have 3 live listeners, and that's actually pretty good. And we have a lot of people who watch our show later on, so it does good on YouTube. Usually it gets pretty up in the views, but for whatever reason, probably people are at work right now, but still, like, it's just internet radio. I think people aren't really understanding they can come and listen to us,
Yeah.
NorthCoastUnderground.com. That's why I push it so hard.
Hey, I've been tagging you in posts like the day of a show, like I posted on Facebook. You liked the post today.
And everybody who's listening definitely share too. But NorthCoastUnderground.com for the live 3 to 4 every Tuesday. If not, video up on our YouTube. So, moving on from the advertisements, but speaking of social media, I went around what was a bit of a fear of mine today. A silly fear, but a fear nonetheless, and I made a TikTok account.
Yes, you did.
We had a teacher this morning here at OMS, and she was going over TikTok. She did a really good job explaining it, but it was like nobody was really engaged with it. Nobody was really paying attention, a few people who were in class.
I feel like that happens with that first class all the time.
It seems like it depends on the topic, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Because I said this earlier, but it's like she ends up talking more to the people online, and you just lose track of what the heck she's talking about.
You know what's one thing I love about this school, though? While we're sitting here complaining about it, I just want to make sure people know, like, one cool thing about this school, though, is I actually did get an email this last week from, like, the national director, and he does read, like, every week we send in a survey. They do actually read those. I got a pretty concise email.
I don't know if I know.
Well, it was in response specifically to something I said about the class.
Gotcha.
But it kind of reminded me of when you just said, it was along those same lines,
Gotcha.
But he did respond, so I thought that was kind of cool. And there's definitely things that are frustrating here at Ohio Media School. It's the same as any other school. But,
yeah.
I mean, I've gotten frustrated. You've seen it.
Yep.
But,
you've seen my frustration, too.
Yeah, and we both see each other's frustration, and you deal with it.
Yeah.
You do. But anyway, moving on to what I had planned for the show. As I said a moment ago, I don't know if anybody heard, but I was trying to print out the show notes, and I've had like a running problem with these printers. If people listen to the show, you know that printers usually why we're late. This week, it's just neither of them literally are working. They both have do not use signs on them.
So the printers just don't like you.
Apparently. So we're just going to have to use the old computer way, which is kind of a bummer. It's just, I got too many things going on at once, I'm like recording the webcam, recording audio. Anyways, we might get to your, how hard on a scale of 1 to 10 is your riddle today?
Well, I actually had, unlike the other weeks, I actually had to use a riddle app on my phone for this week.
So it might be a little easier.
Yes.
All right, well, shoot us with your riddle first, and don't shoot us. Give us your riddle first. And for anybody who's new to this, we do our quiz to start the show. Only a couple of minutes here, and then we'll be back with some news. But just to get a little bit of an informal start, we usually start with riddles or quizzes. And Josh has stumped me a couple weeks in a row now. So third week running, Josh, what do you got?
I thought this was the fourth week, but
it might be. I'm not sure. Well, because you missed that one in the middle, so.
Yeah, but anyway, here's your riddle for today. What gets wetter and wetter the more it dries?
What gets wetter and wetter the more it dries? A towel.
Yep.
I've heard that one before. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, I got one. Trivia Master, I am stealing that crown from you because you're not here today. So yes, I'm the new Split View Trivia Master.
I'm telling James.
You're telling James. Oh no, you said that like a toddler.
I'm telling Dad.
Oh man, I guess if we had parents on our other show, James definitely would be the dad. But moving into some of the quiz questions I have, and I always love to bring like just real basic quiz questions and see how Josh responds. So
you're really for this because you like to see what's floating around in my head.
I like to pick your brain. So for this week, we only have the time for a few questions. What I did was I got TV and movie trivia, and I'll probably hold on to this and do these the next couple of weeks.
Oh, God.
Exactly. So I kind of want to see where your head is at with like
TV and movie?
And the thing is, like, this is pretty popular, like, well-known stuff, too. So let's just jump right into it.
Great.
What was the name of the first film in the Harry Potter series? And I feel like this is one that, as my girlfriend would say, she thinks you should know this.
It's not Chamber of Secrets.
It's not.
No. I think it's Sorcerer's Stone.
You're close.
Not Chamber of Secrets, not Sorcerer's Stone. I did not read I'll be honest, I did not read the Harry Potter series, so I'm not very familiar with it.
I actually did read it when I was a lot younger, but I wouldn't have known this off the top of my head. It's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Close, very close.
Again, I didn't read the Harry Potter series, so I'm not totally familiar with it.
Are you, like, fairly caught up on movies? Do you watch movies a lot or not?
I don't watch movies a lot, no.
I don't either. Some of this stuff I just kind of know, but I feel like it's part of the culture. Some of it not so much, though. Like this next question, you're definitely going to have to know more modern stuff. In which movie did Keanu Reeves learn judo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, marksmanship, and driving, and performed 95% of the stunts himself?
Oh, geez. Is it one of the Fast and Furious movies?
No, he is not in any of the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh.
This is why I love asking you to know. Keanu Reeves was not. That would be interesting fit, though.
Okay. I'm guessing it's some sort of MMA based movie or...
You're probably. It is actually. Have you ever heard of the John Wick series?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, he plays like this, like, I was gonna say bad blank, you know, but like a bad type dude.
Wow, that's a rough way to get around it.
It's like an action movie where he plays like a what would be the word? Like a mercenary, like somebody he's a criminal, but he's hired out by different organizations. But he's like he's got all these different like karate moves, obviously, that he knows how to do. Very good movie. You should check out John Wick. But one more before we are on the way out. We'll be back at the U.S. news after a commercial break. But first, what was the first U.S. film that featured a toilet flushing?
Flushed away?
No, this is a while back. You gotta think, this is the first movie ever in American history to feature the sound of a toilet flushing.
Okay. Well, I was a 90s baby, so...
I mean, it's a movie from the 60s, but it's a movie that's highly popular. Like, they made a TV show out of it.
They made a TV show out of it. Highly popular, from the 60s.
It is a horror movie.
Horror movie. No, not Nightmare on Elm Street.
The answer. Scream? Scream's from like 1999, buddy.
I don't know.
Psycho. You ever heard of Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock?
Can't say that.
Hitchcock, sorry, but it's a very interesting film. There's a scene where like he's got a hole in the wall. It takes place at a hotel, and there's a scene everybody kind of knows, that kind of scene where there's a hole in the wall of a shower, and he's like staring through before he kills this lady.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, very well-known scene. But other than that, I've never seen the movie, but I know that scene. Anyway, we are going to take a commercial break, come back, and we're going to do what I will call the Josh segment, because it's literally every topic you sent me. So, U.S. News when we come back, aka the Josh segment. We're going to be talking about some Maine police officers who got themselves in trouble for a really, really ridiculous and disturbing reason. The space race, I guess you could call it, going on right now in our atmosphere, and what happened today with that. And also a shooting that has to do with national sports. Kind of crazy. We were just talking about some gun stuff going on with the
All-Star
All-Star game last week, and now we have something else. So it's totally different, but similar idea. Make sure you hang around for all that, and we will be back on the other side. And we will be back. Now is the time the computer decides. There we go. No, we don't. There we go. Be right back. Welcome back. Welcome back, Mr. Cotter. And we have two things to touch on real quick before we get to the news. First of all, that on the other side of the break, that was our old friend, technical difficulties. The computer decided to freeze up on me right in the middle of what I was doing. One of those days, apparently. And Josh, you have something you wanted to touch back on?
Yeah, I know it sounded like we were criticizing the school.
We both were. I felt like I tried to save it. I said, there's things that are frustrating like every school, but overall it's great.
Yeah, I do love the school. It's fantastic. I would recommend coming here.
Yeah, I would too, definitely.
Yeah.
I think just like any school, you have to deal with a lot of people all in the class. It's not just you,
right.
So you have different personalities. There's stuff that aren't even in the instructors, like, they can't do anything about it, but it still can be frustrating.
Right. So I apologize if it sounded like I was putting the school down or anything like that. That was certainly not my intention.
Other than that, though, we got some crazy stories. And the reason I put all three of these in, we're really going to have to hit them, is just because I really couldn't pick one not to include, because all three of them are insane. But the first one is definitely the craziest I felt like, where two former Maine police officers are accused of beating porcupines to death, and they're going to spend some time in jail. The two officers, they pled guilty to these animal cruelty charges, which stemmed from an incident in which they beat these porcupines with their batons, is what the county district attorney eventually told CNN. The officers, Addison Cox and Michael Rollison, both pleaded guilty on Thursday to one count of night hunting and one count of misdemeanor animal cruelty.
Right.
Which kind of blows my mind. Like that, I think in Ohio that would have been a felony. Because there was a law passed called Goddard's Law.
That sounds familiar. And according to this article from the New York Post, it says Michael Rollerson, 31, was sentenced Thursday to 270 days in jail, with all but 20 days suspended, fined $1,000, and required to do community service, according to I think this is Bangor Daily News.
Bangor, yeah. The city in Maine. One reason I know that is because Stephen King was there, but that's what that officer got. The other one got a 90-day sentence with all but 10 days suspended. So one guy had to do 10 days, the other guy had to do 20.
He was on.
He got 7 for the other two.
Right.
Well, but it was all ran concurrently. So
right.
He had to do 10 days, and the other guy had to do 20.
And Addison Cox was hit with 90 days in jail, as you said, all but 10 suspended, as you mentioned also, but he was also fined $1,000 and given 6 months of probation.
All I know is that in Ohio, with the Goddard Law, which was passed by, helped passed by the weatherman, Dick Goddard, who obviously has a huge love for animals. If you grew up with Dick Goddard, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes things like this a felony, and they should be a felony, I feel like.
Yeah.
So my question today, I always like to have one central question for the viewers is, listeners, viewers, however you're getting us, but do you think this was right, or do you think they should have got more time? And I think we both already answered it, right? You agree with me?
In that they should have gotten more time?
Yeah.
I've always been a big leader. I shouldn't say a big leader, but I've always been someone who's like been behind animal rights.
Oh, me, I got 4 cats at home.
Yeah,
I know you got animals.
Yeah. Quick story about that. I think this was in high school or something. I actually tried going vegetarian and I was successful for like a month or so. And my reasoning was, to stand up for animal rights.
I like the thought of eating a vegetarian diet because it's healthier for you, first of all.
Right.
And for the moral reasons, yes, I think it's like really cool the way that animals are treated, especially with like the mass farming and some of the crazier stuff you see. But it's such like a common part of our diet, it's really hard. I'm not saying it's impossible because I know people who do it, but it's hard to get that out of your diet.
Eventually I was unable to last.
But I thought this story when you sent it to me was crazy. These officers, there's some people who hide, and I know there's some good cops, but there are also bad cops. And there's bad cops who hide amongst all the other good cops. And the judge who gave them this sentence said something along the lines of, "Oh, they're cops, they express regret, we hope they get out and they're able to change their ways," which is all well and good. But hurting an animal is the sign of a serial killer. Once you start doing stuff like that, I don't think you're going to change just from 10 days in jail.
I can't say I've ever thought about it like that.
Well, I mean, that's if I'm interested in true crime and stuff.
Yeah,
and
I know that.
Any serial killer, first thing they say is they hurt an animal. I'll just smack myself with the microphone talking about hurting. So yeah, the planet sucks. The people want it anyways. Kind of sucks. So apparently Jeff Bezos has decided he's just gonna go live in space now.
Yeah, so he and a few other people, I don't remember exactly how many, but they followed in the steps of, I forget who the other guy was, but it wasn't Tesla, shoot. But there's a giant space race. It's like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and...
Richard Branson.
Yes, Richard Branson, thank you.
Yeah, there's this, and it's all part of your thing, the space race.
Yeah. And it's just crazy, Richard Branson did it where they took off from a plane and then the rocket launched from, the plane. Today, with Jeff Bezos, they just launched straight up from a rocket off a launch pad.
Yep. Yeah. Bezos is literally the richest person in the world.
Yeah.
He was joined by his brother. They had a female aviator student and also a Dutch student. Who all, and that was the news today. The big deal today was he took his, they all have these different names, but his is the Blue Origin spacecraft, and they finally took that out into space, right?
Yeah, or the Edge of Space, something like that.
And I know, like you were saying, Richard Branson's been trying to do this. Elon Musk, who's another really rich guy, has been trying to, that's on an article this weekend actually, and I didn't even tell you about this, but it kind of goes with it, where he was talking about colonizing Mars because he thinks, this planet's going to eventually come to a situation where we're not going to be able to keep living on
right.
Put it that way.
You and I have talked about that on this show before.
And it kind of worried me, honestly, that all these billionaires are going out into space and going to do all this stuff, because here's what I fear is going to happen. One day they're going to be like, oh, by the way, there's a comet on its way, the planet's done for, we're taking the richest people and going to Mars, and you guys are left here for whatever happens.
Yeah. My sister just texted me, and she goes, glad you aren't vegetarian, Josh. So she's listening to the show.
And she's going, man, sister's a savage, though. She's like, eat all the meat you can. Okay, well, we got people flying to space, billionaires, and again, I said maybe it's because, we have these crappy people on Earth that are mistreating animals, or maybe it's because of all the news like this that you sent me over the weekend, our last story for U.S. News. Police say 3 people were wounded in a shooting outside Nationals Park that sent players and fans scrambling during the middle of a game.
Yeah, so the Padres were playing the Nationals, and it was the middle of the 6th inning, and all of a sudden there were gunshots. They weren't fans and players obviously weren't sure if the gunshots were coming from outside the stadium or.
I mean, it could have been fireworks for all they know. It's summer.
Right, or it could have, if they were, I think they knew it was gunshots. Right.
It just says that journalists inside the stadium reported hearing multiple loud bangs during the bottom of the sixth inning. Fans did flee their seats, sought shelter after hearing gunfire, and there was ultimately somebody came out from the front office and basically said that there's no threat inside the building. And what I'm trying to find, maybe you know already, did the game start up again?
Not that day. No, it was suspended and made up in the next afternoon.
So this was Saturday that this happened, and the game, it looks like, was made up on Sunday.
Correct.
But yeah, it just, when you said that to me, I was reminded of last week, and we had that story about the All-Star game and people sneaking guns into there.
Right. Nothing ended up happening with that.
No, but we talked about this a lot, and it kind of all goes along with it, that it seems like ever since the lockdown has ended, fans have just gone crazy. They think they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, we talked about this on the sports show too, which if the system is working, certainly tune into that tomorrow from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
At this point, I don't even try to promote that on the stage. All I say is go to our YouTube page.
Yeah.
That's the best thing to do. Like we plugged it earlier, I'll do it one last time. Kramer Radio and Production.
Onward to the max.
Go there and subscribe. We need new subscribers anyway.
But again, not trying to put down the school by any means. We do love it here, but again, every school has some issues.
Well, Mom added, add me on TikTok too. That's Kramer on Air. Kramer on Air. I need more TikTok friends. But definitely add our YouTube. I'm sorry to cut this short, but we do have to hit a commercial. We're already running over. So I'm going to take a quick break. During the break, we'll take some more local music. That's what we like to do. We don't even like to play commercials, honestly, other than school commercials here and there. But you will hear from a band called Shifted Thought and the song Meaningless, which the show is not. The show has a lot of meanings. We're awesome. Yeah, so you're going to want to stick around. When we come back, local news. Last week I did a show about police blotters, and I think it kind of carried into my note-making this week, because I found two crazy stories that definitely could have been the Cleveland police blotter.
Okay.
So just keep that in your mind. There's some interesting stuff on the other side, and we will be
right back. My sister detective. Oh my god, I got a shout out. Tell your host I have a shout out.
Kramer and Josh. Hello and welcome back, Mr. Cotter.
Yes, welcome back.
Your sister said she absolutely is a savage, huh?
I know.
Man, I'm kind of scared. Should I be? It's always the funnest question to ask. Should I be scared?
She's a black belt in karate.
All right, I'm definitely scared. So moving on. Moving on into local news. Like I said, I was thinking stories that were like almost police blotter themed. I didn't mean to. It was just the two most interesting stories I found.
I think you were on that trend because of the radio show you did for John Action Jackson's class.
Well, that's what I was saying. Good name call there, because John Action Jackson's definitely local radio legend. But
yeah,
we for a class this block we did talk radio, and my subject was like the Cleveland police blotter. And really what it showed me was there's some fun stories in the police blotter.
Some of the stories I see with police and stuff, I'm just like, what?
Well,
like, I get so confused, and yet it makes me laugh.
This first one, we have a guy, and the headline's going to throw you off a little bit, but then the story kind of clears it up.
Uh-huh.
Man says that he was arrested by an East Cleveland officer, and the officer stole $2,700 worth of marijuana from him.
What?
Yeah, during a traffic stop. That's what the man's saying. Thomas Gray is the guy's name over in East Cleveland, and he says nothing seemed right to him from the moment that he saw the East Cleveland police cruiser coming down on him. He was driving the speed limit, he says. The officer got out of the cruiser with his gun drawn already, forced the guy onto the ground and into the back of the cruiser. The officer initially wouldn't even answer his questions about why he stopped his car, but later on said it was because of his car's tinted windows. Gray says as he sat in the back of the officer's car, the officer rummaged through his car and took about $2,700 marijuana. So I'm sorry, it wasn't $2,700 of marijuana, $2,700 cash.
Oh,
And marijuana.
okay, that's a big difference.
And marijuana and 2 cell phones. Gray, 24, was never actually arrested, and the officer never returned the items, which isn't surprising, to be held for evidence in the police department's evidence room. The officer, who was later identified as Alfonso Cole, one of 2 East C police officers charged in connection with the theft during a July 9th traffic stop. The man said that he was on his way to go to his mother's funeral when this happened, too. So that makes it all that much worse.
Yeah.
Dude was on the way to his mom's funeral, and this all happened. The officers were actually already under investigation. Like, the cops who got in trouble for this were already under investigation for stealing about $300 from a guy who was sitting in a car in his father's driveway. So this is like apparently something that's happened more than once, and is a continuing problem with the Cleveland Police Department.
So, just random question.
Yo,
Why are these cops still employed?
that's a good question, and it's because like with their union and stuff and the way it's set up, it's honestly, in my understanding, of course I'm not a cop, but I read a lot, is that a lot of officers, it's very hard to ever get them fired. Because once they're in for so long, you know, they have to go through this long process to even give them like a slap on the wrist, let alone fire them.
Yeah, but like, you know, obviously these are 2 different things, but
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
like with the cops who have been involved in some of these major shootings with like, you know, all the races, are not necessarily identifying a specific one, but
No, there's a lot.
right. But like in those situations, the cops are, you know, relieved of their duties fairly quickly.
I think it's more, and that wasn't, here's 2 things I would say back to that. First of all, that wasn't always the case. It used to be back in the day that those cops probably wouldn't even have got in trouble for what they did.
That's true.
But because of cell phones and the stuff, so it's out everywhere now. You know, people record it on their cell phones while it's happening, and they have it on Facebook and the internet by later that night. So it's almost like they had to do something. That's the first thing I'd say. And the second is, I forgot the second one. I have a bad habit of doing that, but
You get what I mean, though? It's
I
like,
do get what you mean. And what I was going to say is just along the same idea, that it's more obvious in those cases. Like sometimes with these kind of complaints, oh, the cop stole stuff out of my car, people say stuff like this a lot and can be proven that it's not true. You know, people lie about stuff like this. And I'm not like taking the cop's side, because with the life I've had, I'm not like generally ever going to take a cop's side. But I look at both sides of any issue, right?
right, you have to look at both sides of the coin.
Yeah, and it's just
That's how the saying goes.
yeah, something like that. There's a lot of cases where people lie, but obviously, like, my thing is, if somebody has the same complaint multiple times, you know, more than one person saying the guy stole from him, he's probably stealing from him.
Yeah, I would think, like, if 2 or 3 or 4, maybe even 5 people are saying the same thing, that warrants at least an investigation, don't you think?
I would definitely say. And that's exactly the word right there, multiple complaints, all about the same thing.
Right.
Um,
I mean, it's different if, like, one person complains about one issue and then another person complains about another issue and so on and so forth, but based on the details you're providing, it's all the same.
you know, the problem is that being a police officer kind of lends itself to this kind of thing where you have so much power
Right.
that a lot of people they don't know what to do with that kind of power and they do stupid stuff.
Yes.
And yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think because it's such a position where you do have power, that if you do commit a crime like this, I think you should get more prison time or more in trouble than a normal citizen.
Yeah, because I agree with you.
Because you had a badge and you're supposed to be trusted, and then you violate.
And then you're also, if a cop gets arrested and gets more time than your average person, average Joe, whatever you want to say, you're setting a standard, setting a precedent.
I want to say your average Josh. We're up against commercial break again. This is a slightly shorter segment, and we do this a lot, though. We get to talking, and we just kind of fly by time.
I know.
Speaking of somebody who's going to be spending time in jail, the other quick one I had, and this one was close to me, which is why I wanted to share it. 2 were arrested after a high-speed chase on I-71 right next to Worcester, where I live, over in the Ashland County area. It's not right next, but close to. And this was reaching speeds of up to 120 miles per hour.
The heck?
Yeah, the dude was on the highway in Ashland County, like I said, on I-71. His arrest comes a day after troopers received a report of 2 people using drugs in a rest area there. And apparently the next day, the same call was made, and they found his car. When they ran the place, they found out that it had been stolen in New York. So the vehicle flees the rest stop. The cops go chasing them. They ended up exiting onto US 250, which is actually over in Ashland, and drove through several business yards before stopping at the intersection of 250 and 42. The 2 occupants in the car then got out and tried to run, but were eventually taken into custody. So they're going to have like multiple charges.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be like stolen car. Now it's going to be fleeing, resisting arrest, blah, blah, blah. So good job at taking what would have been like a 6-month sentence into like a multiple year kind of deal now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is my advice for you, Josh, for everybody, right quick before we go to commercial, from my own experience. And I said this earlier on the show. If you ever get into a situation with a cop, just tell them what you have on you. Take your time. Yes, sir. No, sir.
I remember this lesson from your news talk.
And it hasn't changed at all.
News talk segment earlier.
And actually, if you want to see that actual segment, I have it up on my YouTube. I said I wasn't going to say the name of it again, but the YouTube I said earlier, if you can go to that and get that video.
You love plugging your YouTube.
I want to get more subscribers. We are hitting our last commercial break. Not even commercial. I don't know why I say commercial. I'm used to it. We take music breaks in between our talking, but we are going to hit our last local music break, come back with our infamous, if not famous, horoscope and astronomy segment. We got a really good one for that too, so hang out till the very end after we play Simplified. That's the name of the song, Simplified by As Nations Rage. See you on the other side of the break.
I got my horse.
Welcome back to Split View with Kramer and Johnny. Welcome back, Mr. Cotter.
Yes.
Yep, you are back with Split View, and this is the end of the show, so if you're just tuning in, that's a bummer. Later tonight, you'll be able to watch the video up on our YouTube that we mentioned multiple times earlier. Yeah, if you didn't get them yet, then that's a bummer too, man. You're bummed out all the way around.
Yeah.
But getting into our astronomy and astrology segment, I still don't know how we came up. It was like a weird mash, because me and Toyson came up with like the horoscope thing, and then me and you kind of like the space stuff, so it works, I guess.
Somehow we bring the two together.
Yeah, and it's interesting, if nothing else.
Yeah.
But you said you had yours from a different horoscope place this week?
Yeah, so a lot of my horoscopes recently on astrostyle.com have been about like relationships and stuff.
Definitely.
So, and nothing's changed in terms of my relationship status.
No change.
No, so I don't want to get into that anymore.
No, that's fine. But we were on the love watch there for a while. But no.
Yeah. So anyway, so I went to horoscope.com for today's for my Aquarius horoscope. It says, key into your sensual, beautiful nature, Aquarius. Take time each day to tend to your soul and make sure it gets the nourishment it needs to radiate into the world. Unexpected people are likely to appear out of nowhere. So don't be surprised when a former lover comes knocking on the door.
You didn't read this first, did you?
No!
Which is always best, because it's always best to react to it on the show, but that's kind of...
Events from the past may travel to the present in order to teach you a valuable life lesson.
Take anything out of that?
Nope.
Not a thing.
Not really.
Something, well, I guess, do you have any ex-girlfriends sneaking their way back around?
No.
Do you want any ex-girlfriends?
No.
Okay. Well, I don't either. I got my Jane. That's all I need. So going to my horoscope, that was for Aquarius, by the way, if you're an Aquarius, which also my girlfriend is, by the way.
Oh.
I said that before, but I always find that interesting. For Scorpio, though, for my fellow Scorps, July 20th, unexpected, and I actually went ahead and took this from horoscope.com as well, just to make it even. Unexpected events could shuffle the cards when you least expect it, Scorpio. If you haven't kept a close eye on the deck, you might get thrown for a loop. Don't be discouraged. Everyone else is playing under the same rules as you. If the dealer seems crooked, go to another table. Don't fall victim to the same trick twice. Huh.
What?
I guess I should be watching out for people playing tricks on me this week, apparently.
Okay.
So, Josh, if you ask me to play poker this week, I'm going to know that you're up to something. You looking at me like I'm on another planet. Do you not know what poker is?
No, I do. I know how to play poker, but I don't think I would ask you to play poker.
Why not? I like poker.
Oh.
What makes you think I'm not a poker guy?
I don't know. No, I'm not. I never said I don't think you're a poker guy. I just didn't think that question would ever come up. Like, hey, do you want to play poker?
I mean, I don't know. You know, and we are going to get to our astronomy fact here in just a second, but we have a couple extra minutes for once. And while we're on this topic, I was just going to say, no, but we're going to be graduating here pretty soon, and who knows, maybe we'll meet up again in the future and play poker. But do you know that I just realized today, a lot of people are going to be graduating in this week?
Yeah.
Including one of the guys from our show.
I think two of them.
Two of them, but Chuck Berserk, who a lot of people know from our other show, the Berserk Box, he's going to be graduating, and it's just crazy because it goes to show you, these are guys that were like maybe in their second month of school when we started, so now we're going to be like at the very end.
Yeah.
We are. We're coming up to our 6th month.
Yep.
The 8-month program, and then you said you're going to do the
Core temperature.
the extended program.
Yeah, I think you said you want to do the, excuse me.
Zoom tight. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to check out all the different options and pick something, though.
Yeah, because you want to keep the show going.
Yeah, that's why. No, but we definitely will. The reason, though, is because I'm looking for a really good job, and in the meantime, if I don't have the job I want, I'll just keep racking up more education, more experience.
Yep.
And we were talking about this earlier in one of our classes, that the more practical experience you get, the more you're in front of a mic, the better you're going to be.
Exactly. Who knows? Maybe we could turn this show into our career.
We could. If anybody wants to pay us $1 million for doing Split View, I would gladly take it.
Yes, Dan.
But that's the price, $1 million. No less, no more.
You want me to pay less?
No less, no more.
All right. But good luck.
I'm like Dr. Evil from Austin Powers.
Yes.
$1 million.
$1 million.
For some reason, we don't sound like Dr. Evil. We sound like a I don't even know. Sound like the Chihuahua from the Taco Bell commercial trying to say it.
Yeah.
$1 million.
I will take donuts and $1 million.
Oh, the show's going off the rail. This is what happens when you run out. We were so good at like hitting our content that I ran out a minute early.
Yes.
Luckily, we are at the end now, thankfully, for anybody listening. But definitely make sure to check us out next week. We'll be back with more prepared topics here on Split View. We always say we do this thing every Tuesday, and we have done this. This is the 16th show. Ever since we started this show, we've done at least some kind of episode every single week.
This is my 7th episode.
Yeah, you've been around. When we're starting to get settled in with each other, the show's been great the past couple weeks.
Wait, we forgot our astronomy test.
And I almost forgot our shot. I knew I was forgetting something. So real quick, our universe might actually be a giant three-dimensional donut.
There's a reason I did that little Simpsons plug.
Yeah, apparently Homer Simpson was right. A couple astrophysicists doing studies this weekend found out and published a study saying that there could be like a finite shape to the universe, and that shape, the best they can figure out, is actually a giant donut that's been expanding, but it's still a set shape of a donut. That's very interesting, and it's actually strange you made that reference. Not strange, but because it's actually Homer made like this prediction. This is one of the many times that the Simpsons have made a prediction, and actually most of the Simpsons predictions, quote unquote, are complete rubbish. But this is correct. Like Homer said, he thinks the universe is a donut, and
yeah,
it is.
What flavor donut?
My girlfriend's favorite is Jelly Hill. Hopefully it's a Hawkins donut, right, babe? There's a place called Hawkins in Ashland we both really like, but yeah, jelly donut.
I prefer a chocolate donut.
Real quick, if you had a favorite donut place, what is it?
Krispy Kreme.
You're a Krispy Kreme guy?
Yeah.
We like Dunkin' Donuts just because we can get our chai teas and stuff there.
Yeah, but my mom loves Dunkin' Donuts. I think, let me see if I can get this right. She usually gets 3 Splenda and 2 creams, I think it is.
I like the chai tea personally. But go ahead and go get yourself a donut if you're listening, man. Go treat yourself to a donut on Kramer.
I think it's a decaf coffee, 3 Splenda, 2 creamers.
For the record, on Kramer doesn't mean Kramer's paying for it.
No.
It just means that Kramer is telling you, so I'm giving you a reason to go get a donut.
Right.
Kramer says go get a donut.
Yes, this is different than like going to a store and saying, oh, this person sent me. Oh, congratulations, you get a discount.
No discount, just I'm going to give you a reason to
Yes,
get a donut.
we are giving you a reason to go get a donut.
And also because our show's over, so
Aww.
we are going to be out of here until next week. Definitely keep checking us out. Definitely get on our Facebook page, keyword Split View 216. All the videos are shared there too. Get on our YouTube. Get on all kinds of stuff that has to do with our show. And if you really like us, check out our sports show tomorrow, also on NorthCoastUnderground.com, but that is on the All Sports Cleveland studio.
Yes.
Anything I left out? Anything you got?
No.
All right, well then we are out. And I'm going to play a song on the way out, another local song for y'all called Son of Man by Avarice. See you next week.
See ya.